Thanks, Goose. Hey, Hex, what do you get when you mix Dumbo, an action hero, and Sonic?
I don't know, Bodger, what do you get?
You get Tembo. Tembo is a butt-kicking, bandana-wearing elephant tasked with stopping Phantom from invading Shell City in the side-scroller. The story is told with cool comic-style cutscenes, which set up the over-the-top, playful atmosphere nicely.
Yeah, I love the cartoony art style and the onomatopoeia that pops up as Tembo races around the map.
Onomatopoeia? Who's that?
Onomatopoeia, Barjo. It means a word that imitates the sound it's referring to.
Yeah, so an example of an onomatopoeia would be meow, because it's a word and it's also a sound that a cat makes.
My cats go meow. Sometimes they go meow, like that too.
Okay, enough cat talk, you two. Back to the review. This is a game from the developer Game Freak, which is the same company that makes Pokemon. Gameplay is classic adventure platforming. You'll be defeating enemies to earn skulls, collecting peanuts to earn lives, and rescuing civilians out of the goodness of your heart. All while navigating some tricky environments.
There's a decent amount of challenge, and you'll have to play each level a number of times to learn it. In fact, the game requires it. For example, there are some sections where you need to leave certain platforms intact so you can use them to jump to groups of enemies. But you wouldn't necessarily know that on your first playthrough.
Yeah, some things are also hidden, so you have to be vigilant and check carefully. Extra big peanut loot, civilians, even entirely new areas are sneakily tucked away. And sometimes you can see them, but can't figure out how to reach them.
It becomes rather important you figure out how to reach them, however, as you have to collect nearly every skull to be able to unlock the last level of each area.
But the game does try to keep you on your toes to stave off too much repetition. For example, I couldn't help but chuckle at the level where you had to go left instead of right, because you had to go right in all the other levels, and he started that level facing right. I just assumed there was a platform or something I couldn't see, and I charged straight off a cliff. Whoops.
That one got me too. There's also quite a variety of enemy types, and you have to figure out how best to approach them.
Affirmative. For example, these fellows hiding under a spiky shell require a well-positioned butt stomp to overturn their defenses. These can take a bit of time to test and figure out, but they add some variety and none are particularly hard.
Yeah, I mean, the difficulty more so comes from your limited lives, I think. Each time your health bar empties, you eat a jar of peanut butter to restart at the last checkpoint. Yum. You can fill these jars by collecting peanuts around the map. But it's really easy to make a series of little mistakes and end up losing all of your peanut lives altogether, especially if there's a particular area that you're really struggling with.
Yeah, I found it pretty frustrating and unforgiving at times, especially because your controls don't feel very tight, and that means when you make a mistake, it doesn't always feel fair. We used a controller, and it's all too easy to accidentally butt stomp your way to the floor when you didn't mean to.
Yeah, that happened to me a little bit too. And the dash and jump didn't always work together the way I instinctively thought they would. I did get used to it the more I played of this game, but it never felt quite right, did it?
Affirmative. I found trying to wrangle the giant bowling balls particularly troublesome. I just needed to go up this ledge. Oh, come on. I had calculated the trajectory precisely. The game just did not want to cooperate.
Oh, that sounds like something a noob would say! Oh, Darren's gonna be a noob watch soon! No, but you are right, Darren. It is very difficult to get that angle right, and at times I just found it more frustrating than fun. And these tricky sections really broke the flow of what should be a fairly fast-paced game.
That being said, it was really satisfying to ace a section after failing it a bunch of times. Oh, and the destruction, Barjo. The way that enemies fly and environments crumble under your elephant weight is just fantastic. I just love a good butt stomp.
Charging my butt stomp!
Careful! Darren, don't break the studio. Final thoughts, Barjo?
Well, once I got into the swing of this, I had a pretty good time, but I just don't like the way that you have to unlock later levels by repeating earlier ones, so I'm giving it 2.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Well, this isn't a long game, but there are a few things that extend the playtime. Finding every last collectible is challenging, and you can always try speedrunning the levels. I quite enjoyed it. I'm giving it 3.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Now it's time for me to deliver some tactical tips with Goose.
Bye, Darren.
Bye, Darren.
Wish my body was made of metal.